Church family, I want you to know I believe what's before us is a defining moment. I said that this morning, I'll say it again. I believe what's before us is a time for us to move forward as a body of believers. 3, 2, 1, launch!
In October of 2021, First Baptist Mansfield began a 2-year journey of generosity and kingdom expansion, driven by our passion to guide people to multiplying impact for Christ's kingdom. Our leadership team challenged 100% of us to prayerfully engage the Lord about giving our first and our best. Jesus calls every believer to go and make disciples of all nations. We believe our participation in the mission of Jesus is one of the most important ways we experience the person of Jesus. As a disciple-making church, this 2-year journey has been an incredible expansion and acceleration of this mission. This was driven by the primary goal of Launch, God working in you as a people.
We started the process of building what we thought would be our dream home. We found some land near Waxahachie, and we began that process. And 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, we moved in. Through Launch, I think God really started showing us, although that was great and that was nice, we really needed to be in Mansfield. Not just because we needed to give back or we needed to move or anything like that, but because this is our community and this is our church. Something that we never thought would happen, we needed to move back.
That we have to be able to take a step back and really begin to see the big picture. And that's hard to do sometimes as human beings. It's really hard to step back and try to see through God's eyes, because He sees such a bigger picture than we do, than we ever could.
I think that I've just been reminded of, following through, finishing, completing things, tasks set before us. I know that in our lives, we face challenges or we make commitments, and sometimes they can seem daunting or sometimes they might seem overwhelming. I had a time in my life where the Lord took me up a mountain, a physical mountain, to prepare me for a mountain I was about to face in my life, and taught me a lot of things through that. And I see this again as just another step moving forward, completing that task, finishing the commitments. He is so sweet and so faithful to continue to give us reminders that He's still working, He's still moving when we feel like we're just checking the boxes or we're just completing the task. There's something bigger on the other side of all of this.
We actually came the day that y'all launched Launch, which was just really fun. And we just felt super convicted and knew that it was where we wanted to be, so we just kept coming. It's not our money, it's God's money. What are we gonna do with it? I think that that's gonna change the way that we look at our finances from the beginning of marriage, which I think is gonna help in the long run our marriage be more fruitful. Finding our church family in a little rinky-dink gym, with lines on the floor and chairs that just kind of connect together. I think that created a reminder that God works anywhere.
Now that it's completed, it's wow, look what God has done through all of us, and it's look where we went and look where we are now. And so it's a great reminder that not only is God going to get each of us personally through things, but the church, He's going to get us all where we need to get.
The impact God's made in your lives is incredible. Seeing the countless stories of God's faithfulness in the lives of people who sacrificially gave has been one of the greatest joys of my life. You see, we've not just seen God work in one segment of our church, but in every generation. To see children, students, young families, empty nesters, and senior adults all experiencing God through their generosity has been amazing. But Launch has also been about God working through you as a church. We laid out ambitious goals, and seeing God bring them to fruition one after another has been incredible. We set out to make an indispensable impact on the Mansfield region, and I believe we've seen that become reality.
We've been able to remodel our worship center, our student and special needs ministry areas, and we were even able to buy a sonogram machine for Metroplex Women's Clinic.
No, I didn't understand a thing before. It was here at First Baptist Church, and I understood more clearly. The interpreting was so clear, and I could understand. By reading a Bible, I don't understand the English words, but I was able to really listen and watch the word, and that's when, I just got chills. I understood that I was a sinner. I understood that people needed to become a follower of Jesus. Oh, my life is very different Previously in my life, there was no light. And now after I accepted Christ and I follow Him, my life is so much lighter and brighter. My view of myself is different than before, so much different.
First Mansfield, my heart is overflowing with gratitude. Thank you for trusting our leaders enough to go with us on this launch journey. And even though we're not home yet, we know God's going to get us there. You know, the children of Israel were given stones to encourage their trust of God in the present by looking at the past. I truly believe Launch has been that kind of stone for you individually and for our church family. Our church has never tackled a project like this before. This was not a moment I looked at you and said, hey guys, we've done this before, let me show you how. Together, we've launched into unknown territory and have seen God do amazing things. In fact, if you had told me 5 years ago that when I became your pastor that we would be here today, I would not have believed it possible. In all of this, the most important truth to acknowledge is this: God is faithful. Psalm 36:5 says, Lord, your faithful love reaches to the heavens, your faithfulness to the clouds. The psalmist uses the scope of the sky to convey the magnitude of God's faithfulness to us. The Jesus Storybook Bible says it this way, that God has a faithfulness that's never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever kind of love. This church has seen its fair shares of ups and downs, and through it all, God's been so faithful to us. For over 100 years, this church has had a gospel witness in this community and the world. Thousands of people have gone before us who've given, served, shared, and loved as the people of God in this community. And now, this is a critical moment in the life of our church to take in the powerful work God has done in and through us as a body. It's a moment for us to see that we've joined in with those who've gone before us to say, Jesus is Lord and our lives belong to Him. Thank you for allowing God to work in you and through you these last 2 years. I cannot wait to see the next chapter of ministry unfold at First Baptist Mansfield. Launch truly just isn't the finish line, it's the starting line.
I think we have a lot of potential to make a huge impact in our community moving forward.